so did thousands of students. But that's why in this video, I'll cover the do's and don'ts of what you should have in mind for each of the main questions. But let's start with some of the ground rules. First of all, don't lie and pretend to be someone you're not. Maybe turn up the enthusiasm a bit, but be yourself. Be polite and respectful, and please make sure to dress appropriately. And be there early, ideally 10 or 15 minutes before.
You can come in now. So, thank you for coming. Now, could you please introduce yourself?
This is your presentation card. It's when the interviewer will know if that awesome first impression they got from you before is true. If it wasn't mentioned before, you can start by setting the basics: name, age, where you are from, and most importantly, what you want to study and why this will help you achieve your goal. Your tone must sound positive and confident. And a tip that will apply to all the answers is not to go there with a prepared answer. I recommend maybe writing an outline of what you want to mention, but don't memorize anything. They will tell and might think you're being insincere. Mention some of your strengths, list a few of your positive hobbies, share your own personal philosophy, and how this links to your goal.
Can you share your strengths and weaknesses?
Here you need to expand on the strengths you talked about before. Ideally, mention 4 or 5 examples and focus on how each of them, or all together, will help you thrive in college and eventually in your chosen career. Extra points if you have a clear example of how these traits have already helped you with an activity that relates to your profession. Now, for the weakness, you can say anything that is no big harm and is possible for you to overcome. And please, don't say that my weakness is that I am perfectionist. Even if you are, save it. It's a cliche by this point. If you don't know what to say, you can go for something like, I struggle to ask for help, I'm not the best at public speaking, or my personal favorite, I have my issues with multitasking. I prefer to give 100% of my attention to one task I'm doing.
Now, why do you want to study this particular subject?
When they ask you this question, it's time to bring out the big guns and show how passionate you are about what you want to study. Don't say that someone else told you that because you have that X trait, you will be great in this field, or that you did well in high school and kind of like the subject. Talk about how studying this career will help you achieve your goals. Explain in depth what meeting this goal once you graduate represents to you. And again, any experience you have from before that adds to this will add a lot of extra points.
Interesting. Why do you want to study at this university?
Now, before I explain what you need to focus on here, there is homework you need to do before you even start the interview. Do as much research as you can on the college. Know everything about it, and I do mean everything. First, review the curriculum of the degree program you want to take. Write down all the main reasons why a specific class makes a difference or what makes it stand out from other programs. Besides that, take notes of all their About Us pages and have a clear idea of what their culture is, what events they usually host, and what values they stand for. Back on the interview, with all that information in your head, just list them out and explain why you believe their values, mission, and program really align with your own principles and life goals. Your answer is to be a mix of, I did my research, and this is why we are a perfect match.
Could you please describe a personal achievement?
Quick disclaimer here. If you just graduated from high school, don't say that your biggest achievements are your grades. Sure, it's great if you have them, but don't make them be the achievement that represents you. Find something that shows your problem-solving skills or an experience that highlights one of the strengths you talked about before. Focus on how this accomplishment had a positive impact on your life and environment and how it improved your confidence and expertise. And if you're an older student, try to go for a recent achievement. Don't talk about a great thing that happened 15 years ago. Keep it fresh and relatable.
All right, great. Now, can you share a personal failure or describe a time you struggled at something?
Just like when you had to name one weakness, don't say anything that's too bad, illegal, unethical, or immoral. Instead, focus on how you grew from this experience. Keep it positive, realistic, and transparent. Start by mentioning the key takeaway you learned from that moment, kind of like the hook of your story. After that, you should briefly explain what happened without giving too many details. And then expand on what you learned, how that helped you improve, and if possible, mention how you applied that knowledge in another opportunity. Approach it like 10% of the takeaway hook, 10% of explaining what happened, and 80% of what you learned.
And to help you even further, I have made a digital guide that you can download in our website. So now you have everything you need to crush that interview.
Nice. So, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
This is a question that colleges don't ask as much as before, but I will still recommend you to be prepared for it, because there is something key that recruiters get from it: how much you have actually planned your success as a professional. It's not necessary to list a bunch of conditions that your life in the future needs to meet. Keep it honest, real, and most importantly, attainable. To get this answer, ask yourself, would I have already graduated from the program I'm about to start? What job will I have? Where will I work? How much will I be making? How many hours do I dedicate to this? Am I pursuing a higher degree to expand my education? But the key question is, have I achieved my goal? If the answer is yes, which is unlikely, talk about what your next goal will look like. But if it's not, then explain what the next steps are for you to take to finally reach that objective. Be specific, keep it believable, and finally, don't stop demonstrating how passionate you are about what you want to study at the university.
Alrighty. So, I think I have everything I need. So, thank you for taking the time.
And just like with any decent human interaction, when you finish, make sure to thank that person for the opportunity and ask what the next steps will be like. Talking about next steps, if you're still not sure about the university you want to apply, make sure if it's the right call by learning which are the red flags you should avoid at all costs. Do it while you still have time.